Hey, what is going on, everybody? Boilon here, back for another video on Marvel's Strike Force, and today we're finally going to be getting to do an update video here on my boosted account. I know it's been a little while, mostly because of my holidays. I don't think I really did an update on that, actually, my entire time I'm away. So I'm finally getting around to it now, and I want to let people know that I have been working on the account. I still, once during my holidays, I actually lost my login streak, which really sucked, and sucked for my alliance because I couldn't sim raids, and I didn't do a lot of raids during that time. But we're back here, and we're almost level 92. Now, I don't remember what level I was the last update that I did, but we're going to go over all of the things that have changed. I want to look at the login day. So it's been 83 days as of recording today. That's where we're at. So it's just under the 3-month mark, and there's been a lot of significant progress here on this account. One thing I also want to point out is the hashtag Thor that's been bothering me all this time. It's finally fixed. I don't know what happened, but it's gone now. So in this video, we're going to be taking a look at all of the things that I've done over the last little while. I also want to spend a special amount of attention to the Apocalypse Chase. You might have noticed in the title of this video, probably questions about whether or not it's worth doing or not. And that's because I am not actually going to be planning on getting Apocalypse, or at least I'm not chasing Apocalypse on this account. I want to go over my reasons for this and why you might want to consider this as well. So if you're ready to go, let's boil this down. So first off, I want to start here at Dark Dimension. I literally, maybe a day or two ago, just finished my timed run of Dark Dimension 5. So this was pretty good, and this one was not that difficult to get through. I can show you once we get to my roster some of the characters that I ended up using for that. But the problem is now is there's a pretty big gap, and actually I had some people unfortunately leave my alliance because they were getting kind of bored, because I feel that after you beat Gear Tier 16 in Dark Dimension 5, there's a pretty big gap until Dark Dimension 6 when you're trying to chase for Super Scroll, because because Apocalypse is like Dark Dimension 5.5, right? You know, that's the Gear Tier 17. But there's so many other things that's related to the Apocalypse Chase, and why it's kind of sucky now. They've made things a little bit better with a couple of the characters being a bit more useful now. But by and large, I would say there's like a good 15 to 17 characters that you're really not going to make a ton of use for. And we'll talk about that in a little while. So currently, I'm not going to really be able to get into Dark Dimension 6, Gear Tier 18 until level 95, right? So I think that's still, even with the boost, because you do get these small boosts per level up, but it's only about 50% of your level, I think. So I don't know how many days it is per level. I'm probably not looking at Dark Dimension 6 for I want to say at least another month. But we'll be doing updates on that. I don't know if I'll be doing regular weekly updates at this point, because things are getting a little bit slower, but I may do so when it's relevant to this account. As far as our raid progress has gone, we've actually done really well. Again, I don't remember where we were when I last did an update, but we managed to get through all of the Doom raids. We did all of the Doom raids, including all the first time difficulties, first time rewards, and all of that, which was really great. So we cleared all of this, and now we're into Incursion Raid 1 right now, and working on, we did do difficulty 3, which is just going to be ending soon. But the reason why we haven't started difficulty 4, 5, and 6 yet is mainly because the requirements are blue ISO 4. And this leads into another conversation that we need to have about Apocalypse, because in order to get Baby Apocalypse, you need all of the 23 characters at blue ISO 4. So some of these new raid teams that we're using is actually incompatible with Apocalypse and grinding up on blue 4. But I think that I'm going to be pushing people in my alliance to do this instead, because I think that getting better raid rewards over on a daily basis is more important than a single character. And what I mean is, like, the new raid teams like Spider Society, Hive Mind, Extreme X-Men, none of them are, with the exception of Gambit, are not really viable for Apocalypse. And so therefore, when you're putting blue 4 on these characters that you need to do for the higher raid difficulties, Incursion 1.4 plus, and I think I want to double check Incursion First Strike actually as well while we're here. And I think maybe no, blue 3. Okay, so you only need blue 3 actually for these. The other problem becomes for this one is that I've been really resisting Bifrost, and the only way to make progress in Incursion Raid 2's First Strike and Incursion Raid 2 is by having Bifrost. It's the very first lane, and most of my alliance does not have them. We do have Vol built typically, and maybe some might have Loki for the upcoming Old Man Logan event. But by and large, a lot of us have been resisting Bifrost, and so that makes this set of raids very difficult for us to challenge because while we might have the other raid teams built up, we don't have Bifrost to get through the initial lane. So I haven't really decided what we're gonna do with regards to that. If I'm gonna maybe see if there's maybe like 6 to 8 people in my alliance who do have Bifrost, and we can all funnel through one lane in Mystic and then kind of disperse after that. That might make a little bit more sense because a lot of us do have all the other 4 teams. We just do not have Bifrost. So that's something that I'm going to have to start to consider. And then actually what I wanted to double check as well, I should have gone back to that, is Incursion Raid 2. I believe this is Blue 4. Yeah, they're all Blue 4s. I'm pretty sure is the requirement on that one. So I mean, I think that having those characters up a Blue 4 is more important. Also, want to say yay that we do have the 60 energy now. That's a new thing that was added pretty recently as well. So if you didn't notice that, is there, and that's great. So yeah, Incursion Raid 1.3. I do want to get through all the raid difficulties for the first time rewards though, but I need to kind of check and kind of see how many of us are able to get these characters at a Blue 4 before we're able to do that. And that leads me to some other conversations. Cosmic Crucible, I'm doing the exact same thing, honestly, that I was doing like 3 weeks ago, which is just the one team right now, and then on defense, and the rest of them on offense. Most of the time, I find that they can't even beat this team because this is my arena team, basically. So I'm finding that they can't even beat this, and then if I'm able to full clear them with the rest of my teams, then I win, and that's just kind of what I'm banking on, really, at this point. Cosmic Crucible is nothing super exciting with this. Alliance War, we're just now starting to get into actual alliances where they're not full shield teams, so that's interesting. But I'm not making this a priority. I don't think that Alliance War should be a priority for players in sort of in the new, especially if you're like less than 6 months old. It's honestly just not a priority. And for that, some of the more recent teams are also not a priority for me to build. Things like Mercs for Money is not a team that I plan on building for this account. Just because I don't think that it's going to have a lot of value for what I need to do. I still think that raids are up here at the top in terms of the priority that you need to do for your account and what is best for especially accounts that are less than 6 months old. I think raid teams are definitely the top priority and the things that you should be building. And you can double dip with raid teams and use them in PvP game modes such as Alliance War and Cosmic Crucible, that they have a lot of value there because they're newer characters. And so as far as power creep goes, they're going to be stronger than some of even the characters that are like 2 years old or a year and a half old at this point. Mercs for Money being a war team though, it's just not for this account. I don't think there's going to be more time to discuss Mercs for Money and then the upcoming Alpha Flight as well, which I'm going to be doing on more about my main account and more for like more veteran accounts. We'll be having a wider discussion about this. My arena rank is still in the top 50. I'm actually pretty impressed. Again, I'm using Void Knight now because Void Knight is a good way to get around Black Knights, all the spawn buffs and stuff like that. And I'm using a 3-piece Extreme X-Men. So this is just what I'm using just now, and it's working for the moment. And oh, there's one of my alliance members, Maddie Westside. So there you go. He's using something actually pretty much identical to what I have. He's just a little bit stronger than me. I think his account level is a little bit higher. So he does have Void Knight here at gear tier 18. But aside from that, I want to talk about the second main topic here of this. We're going to talk about my roster. Okay, I'm going to do just a quick overview of my roster and what I've been working on. You can see that most of these are raid characters and characters that I use for Dark Dimension. So you can see Spider Society, some city characters here, some Black Cat, some Cabal that I'm slowly, as of recording this, I have 4 days left on Pocket Dimension. I'm not sure if I'm going to get to clear it or not before it goes away. That's a training mod issue that I have right now, actually. But you can see the rest of my 85-ish characters are going to be the raid characters. Spider Society, you see Pegasus, Hive Mind, Extreme X-Men, all of the raid characters. Hive Mind here again as well. My Pegasus is actually sitting at 75 G14, so they are largely not that high. The main focus has been on the 3 newer teams, so Extreme X-Men, Hive Mind, and Spider Society. So that's what I've been working on. I'm just going to do a little quick kind of scrolling here through my roster. You can kind of take a look at sort of what I've been building and what I haven't been building. And that's pretty much it. Now, what I'm working on right now is making sure that my arena team stays up to date. So they are at 91, but when I hit 92, I'm going to need to level them up. And I guess just working towards what I'm eventually going to be using towards, not Apocalypse, Super Skrull in Dark Dimension 6. But I want to talk about Ions. So this is the situation that I'm in right now with Blue 4 and blue 5 ions. I have not spent any since I started this game, since I started this account. So I'm at about 15 million blue 4 ions and 6 million-ish blue 5 ions. Now I'm pretty sure I had this, I want to bring this up. I have this spreadsheet. It's called the Apocalypse Tracker, or the Apocalypse Blue Ion Tracker. And so this is the total amount of blue 4 and blue 5 ions that you do need to eventually get Big Boy Apocalypse. So you need about 30 million blue 4 and about 40 million blue 5 ions. Now you get some of this back actually by doing the Apocalypse Saga and the Horseman sagas and things like that. So what you actually need for this is actually a lot less. So you actually need more like 17.7 blue 4 ions and 23 million blue 5 ions, because you get some of this paid out back to you after you start doing some of these nodes. Now, the problem with this, though, is that's still a lot, okay? You know, that's still a lot of total ions. Do I even have that? No. Actually, you know what? I almost do on the blue 4 side of things. You know, I'm basically like 2 million blue 4 ions of being able to get Baby Apocalypse. And that's where, if hypothetically, had I invested in all of the 23 characters required to do that, then I might be able to do that like pretty soon. The problem is that I don't actually think that Baby Apocalypse is really that good. It's Big Apocalypse or nothing. And I think, at least for those of you who are watching this video who already have Big Apocalypse, I think can attest that there's a huge difference between the two. And I think that unless you're going for Big Apocalypse, I wouldn't bother with getting the smaller version of him. And that's a lot of blue 5 ions I just frankly don't have for my account yet. You know, even if we look at this 23 million or so that you actually need, that just means that you get basically the difference of 40. You get like 16 million worth of blue 5 as a refunds in terms of like once you start completing the nodes, things like that. That's why it's actually required. But I'm still like only 25% the way on the blue 5 ion side of things. So that's why it's not even a question really at this point in time. And since I'm getting blue 4 ions at such a larger pace, I think that means that I probably could blue 4 my main raid teams and be able to push on into the other incursion raids. And that's probably a better priority for me right now. The question is, and the reason why I've decided to do this is because, you know, let's just go through one by one. So Darkhold, where's my Darkhold at? This is the first team that came out for them. It's like right there. The amount of time and resources and gold and training mods that you would have to spend to get all 23 characters up to G16 blue 4 is just months and months and months of resource. Keep in mind that I have only been like less than 3 months into this account. I would be building these characters for the next 3+ months just to get Baby Apocalypse. That's the G16 version, because training mods don't come in as fast as they should, in my opinion. So it's going to be quite the struggle. Now, of these characters, only a handful of them are even useful. So that's Darkhold. What was the second one? So Unlimited X-Men, right? And at least for better or for worse, Unlimited X-Men did get the usage of not only Gambit, but we're going to see usage of Sunfire actually for Alpha Flight. So that's 2 characters. Okay, so there's 2 characters that are currently in, that will be or are in the existing meta. The other characters, I don't even have them unlocked. Actually, I do have Phantom X unlocked. I don't even have a Dazzler unlocked. So it's just a little bit crazy there. Third team, we have Gamma. Now, there is one good thing about Gamma, is that Leader is now considered part of that team. I don't even have Red Hulk unlocked. It's such a terrible Scourge event. And then the rest of them just don't have any other value right now in the game. And so it's just so many wasted characters that are just way falling down the wayside that I'd have to build for a single character. And yes, I understand that, you know, Apocalypse is a very powerful singular character. He's very meta, particularly in Arena, which is an important game mode. But, you know, if it made the difference of me, you know, being in the top 10 versus the top 50 to 100, I'm okay with that, because the rest of my gameplay on my account is going to be great. I'm going to be doing the maximum amount of raids. I'm going to be doing Incursion 3 or whatever on this account, probably in less than 6 months, because I'm going to have all of those raid characters built up. And, you know, other people would not, because you'd have to spend basically about 6 months just building these characters up to G17 blue 5. And you're not going to get a lot of value out of them, in my opinion. The final team is Death Seed, right? And so I do have Archangel built up, but the other 4 I have no value. There's no purpose for them, right? They're not on any existingly currently meta team. And then there's the characters of Kestrel, Deathpool. Who's the third one? Is it just the 2? Is it 22? I know it's 23 characters. Why am I forgetting? Is it Vol? No, it's not Vol, right? Nick Fury. It's Nick. I don't remember who's the 23rd character for Apocalypse. Why am I forgetting? But anyways, I know that you need Kestrel and Deathpool, and I do have Deathpool built up a little bit on this account, but not that much. So there's Deathpool there. I don't know why I'm blanking, and I just can't remember who the 23rd character is. I'm just Spider Weaver. Spider Weaver. Okay, I know people are shouting at the screen as I was thinking about that. So again, I have them built up a little bit, but I'm looking at least 15 to 17 characters that I just don't want to build, that are going to have no really good meta relevancy, and I'm going to have to take them to G16 or G17, blue 4/5, in order to get one character unlocked who is largely going to be good in arena. You know, and I think he will have an arena space for some time, but I don't know if it's real. I don't think it's worth it. Actually, I don't. Yeah, I really don't. I really don't, because the amount of total resources and the amount of time spent, I'm gonna be put backwards. I'm not gonna be able to work on the newer characters, and then my raid teams are gonna get delayed. My other teams are gonna get delayed, and I need to be more forward thinking. This is how I've always been. Look to the future, look to the now, not look in the past. And I realize that this is a very big decision to make, but I think that this is an important one, because I'd rather be getting paid out in my top raids every single day and getting good resources out of that, getting red gear and so on and so forth, and pushing towards that, rather than not having my raid teams ready and being able to do that. Now, the only other alternative to this is, once you've done all your raid teams and you got them to the level that you need to, 95, G18, or whatever it eventually ends up being, then you can start working on that. But I have this weird, strange feeling that within 6 months, and I know that's a long time from now, but I think that they will slowly start making some adjustments for Apocalypse. Now, whether or not that's what we're seeing right now, which is Gambit and Sunfire reworks, and you know, characters that are somewhat relevant to the Apocalypse chase, and we're getting like piecemeal, like one character every so often, maybe that's it. But they did say that they have acknowledged that the Apocalypse thing is very difficult for new players, and I do want to think that they might have this on the horizon, not in the near future, but maybe in the mid future, in like 6-ish months. I think that's kind of something that I might see. I'm not going to tell you guys what to do. I'm telling you what I'm doing on my account and what I think is best for new players. This is not something, you know, if you're like 1 year plus in, I'm telling you, not telling you to do it there. I'm telling you, if you're like less than 6 months old on your account, that maybe your priority should be building your raid teams, getting those up to snuff before you think about doing Apocalypse. Just my thoughts anyways. This is the update here on the Boilon boosted account. Hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments down below, though, of course, anything that I missed or that you'd like me to cover on the next time for these. Otherwise, have a great rest of your day, and until next time, stay safe and healthy, and I'll see you all later. Boilon, signing out.